As runners, we all challenge ourselves in ways we never thought possible, pushing the boundaries of what we're capable of to smash through targets and set ourselves new, bigger and better ones.
This awesome hobby that we share gives us one thing in common, and it brings us together as a community. Whether you're working towards completing your first parkrun or you're a veteran of the sport who's run 100 ultra marathons, we all know the feeling of reaching that maxed out effort and our own red line.
Welcome to our podcast, where your hosts Brett Elesmore and Andy Maguire discuss the struggles, the successes and everything in between on our running journeys, as we all work towards the next time we're running the red line. Hello and welcome to episode 69, dude. He is Andrew P. Maguire, Esquire, and I am Brett D.W. Elesmore, and we are running the red line. Woo!
Now, I could be wrong. Is that Bill and Ted?
It is indeed, yes.
Thank goodness I got that right. Because there was a minute then when I was like, I don't know what's he on about? What's he doing?
See, I've been looking forward to two specific episodes and I completely forgot about the one. So I really needed to make a big moment of episode 69.
And I think you did.
Yeah.
I think you did.
66 was the first one, and I completely forgot about that. And then I had to do it on this one. But there we go.
I always get this is going to sound sacrilege to a lot of people, probably you, but I always get Bill and Ted and Wayne's World mixed up.
What?
I know. I just get them mixed up because they're so similar. I get, but they're slightly before my time.
Yeah.
What years were they both out? Were they sort of mid-80s?
No, like early
Later?
90s. Yeah, early 90s,
Okay.
I would say. I think so, yeah. I think it was about 90, I'm going to guess 92.
See,
I'm going to Google it and find out.
I was 7. I wasn't cool enough to be watching those kind of shows then, those kind of films. However, do you remember what the first film you watched in the cinema was? I mean, I could be wrong about this, but my first trip to the cinema, I might have mentioned this on the podcast before. It was in Florida. We went on a family holiday. I mean, we could have just gone to Ruby Cinemas.
I was going to say, yeah.
We could have gone to the old one in Redditch, but no. We were on holiday in a family holiday when we went to Florida, and we went to watch in one of those biblical storms. We went to watch Jurassic Park, and I think Jurassic Park in what was that,
1993?
3 or 4, yeah.
Wait. Right, hang on. Jurassic Park.
I think it was 4.
1993.
No,
yes,
3. That would make sense, yeah.
Yeah. Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that would make sense. I would have been about 8 or 7 or 8 because I was 8 in that September. But yeah, I remember just going to watch that, and I was absolutely terrified. And the same, because all I remember is we did a holiday. I don't know if, now it's just how everyone does it now, but we did something back in the day called a fly drive, where we flew to Miami, we picked up a car, and then our travel agent had booked us loads of different motels through the Florida Keys and all through Florida, Orlando, Miami, that sort of thing. And I don't really have a really brilliant memory of it. But all I remember was we stayed in this one place in the Florida Keys, and I didn't actually, my sister did, a near-death experience because I was snorkeling in the 2-foot deep shallows of the sea. And like Jaws-esque, a dark shadow started swimming towards me. My sisters and my mum and dad are on the shore My one sister Cheryl is going mental, going, get out of the water, get out, you're going to be eaten. And I'm just going, oh yeah, look at all these, look at these little barnacles on the bottom of the jetty. And it turns out it was a manatee. Do you know, have you heard of a manatee?
Yeah.
So those things, because I think they graze on like in the shallows basically. And it was massive. And I came face to face with it. Have you seen that scene in the beach with Leonardo when he sees that shark 6 inches away from it? I looked up because I couldn't hear anybody. And I looked up and I saw this manatee swimming towards me with like the face of like a seal, basically. And I just thought, my life is over now. I'm 7 and this is it. I've peaked. And I remember turning around to try and run up the stairs, and it was so slippy. I was like a hamster on a treadmill, on a hamster wheel trying to get out. Meanwhile, my sister has basically had a heart attack. So, almost half of our family nearly died that day of a heart attack. But, funny you should mention that. I don't know how I got onto that story. But
from Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park, yeah. What was your first film in the cinema?
I can't remember. I can remember that Jurassic Park kicked off my dinosaur phase, where I got obsessed with dinosaurs and I just wanted to find out everything with dinosaurs. I think I can remember queuing up with my mom and my sister for the cinema on, do you know, in Redditch, Unicorn Hill? Do you know where it's Lloyd's number 1 bar now, the Weatherspoons?
Yeah.
That used to be
remember
the
old cinema, yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So it was a 2-screen cinema, one upstairs, one downstairs. And we queued to go and see E.T. At that cinema. But the weather was so bad, the roof blew off the cinema.
I wasn't expecting that.
So we were stood in the queue down the hill, and roof panels, like big panels of wood, were flying off the roof and just landing in the middle of the road and stuff. So they cancelled the showing, and we didn't actually get to see it that day. But that's one of the first times I can remember going to the cinema.
Wow, that's quite a memorable time. Yeah.
But going back to Bill and Ted and Wayne's World, what year did I say Wayne's World was?
I think you say early 90s.
Yeah, I said.
Did you say 90? Did you say 92?
I did indeed, and Wayne's World was 1992, but Bill and Ted was 1989.
See, I thought that was 80s. Yeah, because there's a fair few Bill and Teds. There's Bogus, there's Excellent Adventures.
There's Excellent Adventure, which was 89. Then Bogus Journey was the second one, and then they recently did another one.
So there's only 2. There wasn't a trilogy.
I think so.
There wasn't
I think there was only like Excellent Adventure and Bogus Journey, and then the new one was like the reboot. I think anyway. Let me just check. Yeah,
see that just wouldn't work now. Kids today, they wouldn't understand what that noise is, because they don't know what fretboard tapping is. When I learned to play the guitar, that was the first thing I wanted to be able to do, because it's just the coolest way to play a guitar solo, and I will not hear any different. 80s guitar solos, apart from the Eagles in the 70s. Yeah, you can't beat an 80s guitar solo. Do you know what a good a very underrated guitar solo is?
Go on then.
Are they called Starship?
Yeah.
Nothing's going to stop us now.
Okay, nice.
That's a fantastic guitar solo. And what's even more 80s about it is the guy goes, hey! And then it goes into a guitar solo. And it just really sets up a solo when someone shouts something before it.
I'm sort of sure. So Starship were a band in the 80s, right? But they originated, I'm sure, in the 70s, or it may have been even earlier. And I think it was 70s. And they started off as Jefferson Airplane, the band, right. And then later changed their style of music and turned into Jefferson Starship. And then when the 80s came around and it was all electronic music, they changed their name again to just Starship.
Yeah, clever. Moving with the times.
Yeah. So they were like 3 different bands, but the same band, more or less.
Do you know what the Beatles were called before the Beatles?
Well, it wasn't Wings, because that was the band the Beatles could have been.
The Beatles could have been. No, I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure they were called the Silver Beatles.
Oh,
and they got rid of the word silver. Yeah. So I think that's true. But that might have come up on one of my
one of your pub quizzes.
Brett's pod quiz at the end of the podcast quizzes.
Oh, okay.
That might have. Or yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe that came up in one of my pub quizzes that I probably nearly got lynched at.
Yeah, because you were just reading out of a book and you didn't actually know
in the Ladybird. Yeah. Yeah. What colour is Thomas the Tank Engine? No, he's green. No, it wasn't.
He's blue.
Henry. Exactly. It was that sort of thing. Quizmaster's always right, though.
Wait,
no, James was number 5.
Gordon was blue as well, wasn't he? Gordon was the miserable one. I'm sure he was blue.
Yeah.
And Percy was green. Or was Percy red?
I don't know, mate. I can't remember. I should know. No, I tell you, it was red. James. James was red.
Yes, yeah. Can you remember the episode when they put Gordon behind a wall and built a wall in front of him so he couldn't get out and like put him in isolation?
That's a bit harsh. What? Just because he was a bit miserable?
I think it was something like that. Yeah. And they parked him up in like a tunnel and built a wall in front of him so he couldn't get out.
Wow, that's a bit of a metaphor, isn't it, for old people?
Yeah.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. There we go. There's a link to what we were talking about before as well, Ringo Starr.
Yes.
So there's a method to our madness. A method to our madness.
Do you know what? Few things, the internet, you could argue, is one of the worst inventions and responsible for riots and, all sorts of things. But the internet, I tell you what is brilliant for is memes. Yes. Have you seen that meme where I think it's Beyonce? She's doing her dancing to, I don't think she does it like that. Don't think she does it exactly like that. But I think she's doing Crazy in Love, but someone's overdubbed the Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah.
So that was
it's also like the video of the goth ravers. Do you know the ones that are all in black but got fluorescent hair and fluorescent like wristbands and glow sticks and stuff, and they're dancing underneath a bridge. They're all dancing underneath a bridge, and they've overdubbed Thomas the Tank Engine music on it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll have to check that out. But can I just take this opportunity to excuse my headwear? I've not got my usual Craig David's on, my headphones. Because I'm born to do it. Was a Born to Try. No, that's Delta Goodrum. What a tune that is.
Yeah, Born to Do It with Craig David. I went to see him just after he released that album. He was very good.
Craig David, I think, was underrated as
he was fantastic
as a performer.
I must have been 18 when I went to see him. That's how long ago it was. Yeah,
he existed a little bit like. Well, I can't really think of a popular genre of music that has come and gone so quickly as UK garage. Like, there's not many genres of music that were that trendy and then that forgotten about, is there?
Yeah,
I guess.
But but Craig David fled to America because he basically blamed Lee Francis for ruining his career because no one would take him serious after Bo Selector. So he went to America and just quit the limelight because no one would take wouldn't mention Craig David's name without going, Craig David.
I know it's bad and you shouldn't
and asking him where Kez was.
Kez! All right, Jackass. Jackass. Oh my God, that
No,
show.
not really, because I don't even like bananas.
Oh, the Michael Jackson one and everything. Oh God, the Scary Spice. Some of them characters were just.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a
It was a different time
hot
back then, though,
debate.
wasn't it?
I know.
Yeah, different time back
The
then.
world is too woke to ever have to ever have comedy like that anymore, isn't it? But some absolute just comedy gold moments with Bo Selector. But if you're not from, Bo Selector, I think, is a very British reference. And if you're not from the UK, how would you describe Bo Selector? First of all, the name of it comes from
Craig David.
So he's a singer. If you don't know idea who Craig David is, in one of his songs,
Rewind with the Artful
Rewind.
Dodger.
When the crowd say "Bo Selector," so the show was called Bo Selector, and I don't know if Craig David was the only character in it once upon a time, or there was always multiple characters.
Yeah, no, there was several from the start, but he was the one that people really, took a shine to.
Yeah, so this actor called Lee Francis would play several contemporary characters,
over the top, close to the bone caricatures of people.
Michael Jackson one when he's going shopping in Harrods and he's on his mobile and he's on his scooter and all that.
Yeah, in his scooter. My mate sent me a video message the other week, and he was somewhere, and all the message was a video of him walking through, not of him, but of where he was walking in a like a sports store, and he just walked up to this stand, and he went, Michael, judo costumes. He was just videoing the judo costumes. And that was the whole message. No message before, no context or anything. Just a video of him walking up to some judo costumes. Brilliant.
Oh, and that was the noughties. Yeah, what a show that was.
Yeah.
But the headwear again. How have we got talking about that? So not wearing the Craig David headphones. I am somewhere in between, looking at because my lamp here is one of those fancy digital ones, and it's got like the time. I mean, that's about how it fancy is. It's got the time on it, and it's also got the temperature, and it says right now it's 27 degrees. My watch corroborates that and says it's 28. It is so hot in the house, and if I wear these, I will be like that main character in Airplane trying to land the plane. I'll be just dripping with sweat. Water will be running off my face like Niagara Falls. Yeah. So I've had to go with my old lady earrings and put them in. And I've got my hat on because my hair is like, well, I'll show you. It's horrendous. I haven't cut it for about a week, and it's bad. It's really bad.
Oh, I'm waiting for you
to wear that now. To be honest,
I'm waiting for you to grow it back.
I think I'm tempted to grow a little ponytail.
Yes.
Yeah, I could grow a little ponytail. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Could be like Bill Bailey.
Either that, or you'd be like an 80s villain from a film.
Yeah,
like from a Steven Seagal film, or something like that.
Yeah, I could easily do that. Yeah. I mean, it would take me about 8 years to grow it, but give me a shout out.
Maybe that's your project for the next 8 years. Become a 1980s action film bad guy.
Love that. If anyone asks me what I'm doing, I'm doing it for the podcast that people listen to and don't even watch. Yeah. But I'm also wearing my my vest, my singlet, as it's also known, because honestly, in the house today, it's so hot. And again, if you're not from the UK, you're probably thinking 28 degrees. That's not hot. For us, this is
It's also
tropical.
very different heat. It's very, very different. Like American heat when it's warm and it's in the 30s and 40s is very different to 30s in the UK.
It's just so humid all the time, and even the wind is hot. Even the wind doesn't cool you down. So, yeah.
Wind, my only friend. I hate you.
Shut up, wind. Name the program. Shut up, wind. Again, the noughties. What a show that was. I was at university then, and I was in one of my more hippie-ish phases of life.
Yeah.
And the Mighty Boosh all made sense to me.
Yeah.
All of a sudden during those years.
Yeah. I went to go and see the Boosh just after they'd released their first series. They were incredible. Really small. I think it was in Wolverhampton, at a really small venue. Brilliant. Brilliant. And then I saw them for the second time on the Future Sailors tour.
That must have been good.
We went on Halloween for the first one, on Halloween night. So we dressed up. And I went as Tony Robinson. It's an outrage. And
when it comes to the crunch,
you don't know the crunch. You can't handle
anything of the crunch.
And then the second time, so on that same tour, we went to 2 nights and we were on the front row. Amazing.
You will have to dig out that photo that you once showed me of that costume that you made. It is like amazing. It really is. It really is amazing. I can't believe you went out in that. That was, you didn't even look like in costume. You looked like an alien. You didn't look human.
Well, it's supposed to be human. It's supposed to be Tony Robinson.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You looked absolutely brilliant. But that was a good old show as well.
Yeah, I will find it. I'll put it onto the Instagram.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, we'd all love to see that. And believe me when I say you're in for a bit of a treat if you do see that. So, but yeah, why don't we just have a quick update?
Yes.
On Fracture Watch.
Ah, yes. So,
Boot Watch.
Yeah, Boot Watch. This week has been very different because I've been so busy. I haven't had time to be a miserable sod. So I haven't really thought about it. I've just got on with what I've been doing. I haven't had time to stop and think.
You've been a bit of a Gordon.
A Gordon? Oh yes, yeah. No, I haven't been Gordon. I've been too busy to be Gordon. So yeah, basically this week it has been final marking and getting everything ready for moderators' time at college. So marking all the students' work and making sure all the markings been done, double marking's been done, IVing of marking has been done. All of the other paperwork is in the right place. Everything's been placed into the right folders. So when we can let the moderators in, it's all there. So it's been a bit of a hectic week with that. So I've been like sat at my table in my kitchen at my computer, trying to get marking done and finishing at like 4 o'clock in the morning and then getting up at 7:30 to go to work. So that's been fun. So obviously because of that, I've not had time to even think about anything. And then the rest of the week I've been busy with work. But last night I got home from the shop. So I was at my shop printing, which has been horrible because of how hot it is. And I've got 2 heaters running at stupid temperatures and just making the room hot in hot weather. It's been horrible. But anyway, got home from the shop at about 11 o'clock and sat down to put together a spreadsheet, which is always fun. And we will talk about that in a bit. And I started doing the spreadsheet and entering all the information. and then trying to make it look nice and have some graphs and things with it. And then the next time I looked at my watch, it was 3:00 in the morning. So yeah, that's basically been my week of just doing stuff and not noticing that the time is going. So yeah, I've not been miserable about it, but it feels all right. It feels like it's getting better, which is good. So that's a positive. The only negative about this week, which I was talking to you about before we jumped onto the podcast, is
the pre-podcast podcast.
Yeah, the pre-podcast podcast. I had a letter through today. Not today, sorry, this week. I had a letter through from the hospital, and I opened it up, and it said, "Oh, we are pleased to give you your date for your hernia operation." And the date for my hernia operation, well, I get out of the boot. So my next visit to fracture clinic to hopefully get out of the boot is on Wednesday, the 23rd of July. So I get out of the boot at the end of July, and then 10 days later, on August the 2nd, I go in to have my hernia operation. So I've got 10 days without having the boot where I could have started running again. But then I will be going in for my hernia operation. And the doctor, when I went for my meeting with him, said it is 6 weeks of nothing. No running, no screen printing, so no work, nothing for 6 weeks. Anything that could put strength, pressure or anything onto my lower abs where the hernia is a no-no. So that's another 6 weeks out. So it will be 12 weeks after London when I get out of the boot. So I'd have had 11 weeks in the boot. And then I'll have a week out of the boot and then in for my operation and another 6 weeks off running.
So was the last run you did the London Marathon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the last time my heart rate was out of zone 1.
Oh.
So, yeah. But
apart from this week in the shop when it got up to zone 4 because of all the heat.
Yeah.
Well, you know what that means? You've got a week in between the hernia and the boot. You
to go for a PB.
You could get down to Parkrun. And you could try and see if you can win the competition.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be happening.
No, it might not.
So it's a bit annoying that it's come. I don't think it could have come at a worse time, but at the same time, it probably couldn't have come at a better time because at least I'm not getting back into running and then got to take another break. It's just extending the break I'm already doing. So I'm going to get it out the way, complete factory reset, start again at the beginning. So it'll be probably mid-September, late September when I can start running again, which also means a bit of bad news. I don't think if I start running again in mid-September, I'll have 10 weeks probably at the most before Valencia. And I don't think 10 weeks is enough time to get back into running and get ready for a marathon. I'll possibly get to a point where I could probably get round and jog, but I don't think that's what I want to do if I go to Valencia. If I go and run Valencia Marathon, I'll want to be going to go all out and try and get a PB. So I think I'm going to have to drop out of Valencia, which is gutting.
Yeah.
But
well, you've got to that recovery from the hernia. I mean, hopefully it won't be. Is it up to 6 weeks, or have they said definitely 6 weeks?
6 weeks, 100% definitely. Could be 8 weeks.
Could be 8.
So 6 weeks at least of complete rest from exercise.
Well, I don't know how it will feel. I mean, it's probably going to hurt a bit more because you've been using this muscle for so long. But I had my appendix out and that was, the closest thing I can. I think that's the only time ever in my life I've been under the knife, and I don't know if that qualifies as minor surgery or it was not major surgery, is it? But I remember. I remember the weird thing was someone was trying, because there's like a recovery room. I remember when your anesthetic wears off and you start to use like, where am I? Who am I? You're asking all the big questions, and you don't know what's going on. And there's some bloke or some woman in there basically trying to get rid of you so they can get the next person in.
Yes, yeah.
Because you've got to recover quite quickly, and they don't want you to fall in. Once you come round, they don't let you drift off again.
Yeah.
Because they need to sort of get you conscious and make sure they can check all your vitals and everything's okay. And I remember just getting so annoyed with this bloke, because I was like, mate, you get off me. All I want to do is just go back to sleep. Because you're still kind of numb to the pain, but you just got this real weary tiredness. Yeah. And have you got any fear of that, by the way? I should have probably asked you that.
I've not really got a fear of it. No, I've never had any surgery ever. So this will be the first time I've ever had general anaesthetic or anything. I've never had any type of surgery. I think in my whole life I've only ever been like in hospital more than just going to visit A&E or something like that. Actually staying overnight in hospital once in my life. So this will be a very strange and new experience. Yeah.
Well, I remember they basically, when they give you the and they give the anaesthetic, I remember the nurse saying to me, just count to 10 for me, please, will you, Andrew?
Yeah.
And I went, whoa. I didn't even make it to 1. All I remember was just feeling this blanket of kind of tiredness. I can't explain it, and everything in my body just giving into this giving into this sensation of just complete relaxation. And I remember obviously having that memory up until that split second, and I remember just thinking, then I was under. So it's just a really, really odd sensation.
Yeah.
So,
I am a bit like, this is going to be odd. I'm not sure. But at the same time, how many people do it every single day? So it's just something that, it's just something that's going to happen. But it's going to be a very new experience. As I say, I was chatting about this actually earlier today with my sister about the only time I've been in hospital, and I had to go to hospital because I had, and this is going to sound ridiculous, the illness I had was tonsillitis, right? But I had tonsillitis so bad I couldn't walk.
What? You just wanted the day off school, didn't you?
Honestly, my legs wouldn't work, and basically the poison and crap in from my tonsillitis and in my tonsils had gone down from my body and affected my legs, so I couldn't put any pressure on my legs with real bad pain, and I had to go to hospital. And I was in a wheelchair for a few days.
Really?
Yeah, I was in hospital for a few days, and to be able to get around, I had to be in a wheelchair because my legs just didn't want to work, and it was all because of tonsillitis, which is,
really,
when I say it, sounds ridiculous, but yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, so that's the only time I've been in hospital. So yeah, it will be a very strange thing, but there we go.
Well, you'll be fine. You'll be all right. I remember having tonsillitis. I haven't had, touch wood, I haven't had tonsillitis for a long time. And that's bad, isn't it? Tonsillitis, because it affects the way you talk. And
yeah, I used to suffer from it really bad when I was a kid. I used to have tonsillitis all the time. But yeah, it's just something you slightly grow out of, isn't it?
Yeah. Fingers crossed we'll both be dodging it for a long time.
Yeah.
So, what should we do now? Because we've got a lot, as always, to get through.
Yes, we have. Yeah, shall we go right then? Shall we go? Any like running news that we've had in the last week? Quick shout outs for races, and then your training week, so we can then get into our Parkrun challenge and then into comments and emails. Should we do it in that order?
Yes,
quickly.
Let's do that.
Right. Okay. So running news. The only things I've got written down are there was the British 10,000 meter champs last Saturday, which was at Birmingham Uni, and the British 10,000 meter champs is normally at Highgate, and it's normally during night of the 10,000 meter PBs. But because they had a year off doing that event down in Highgate this year, Birmingham Uni stepped up and offered their track for the champs. So it was at Birmingham Uni last Saturday. The winner of the men's was Emil Caress. So he is back running, because obviously he dropped out of London Marathon because he said he had some niggles, but it wasn't during London that he was injured with the niggles. It was before, and he didn't think he'd have enough time to get up to full fitness to run London. That's why he scratched London and didn't. But now he said he's been training well all the way through London and up to now. So hopefully we'll see him at a marathon again soon. But he ran 27:27 for the win. And apparently he had a real good battle for the first 5K, and then the second 5K, he was just on his own and ran a solo race, which is pretty cool. In second was Ephraim Gidey in 28:09, but he is Irish, so wasn't actually in the British champs. Third was Ellis Cross in 28:14, so he came second in the British champs. Fourth was Jack O'Leary in 28:23, but you can probably tell from the name, he is also Irish. So he didn't count in the British champs. So fifth was Logan Rees in 28:14, and he came third in the British champs. And then on the women's side, first place was an Italian called Eliza Palermo. But in second place was Megan Keith. So she is back after she had a bit of a shocker at Paris at the Olympics. She didn't really have the race she wanted, and it was a bit of a struggle for her. So she is back to fitness again, and she ran 31:19 to take the win for the British champs, in second place overall, but first in the British champs. Second was Callie Thackeray in 31:24, and third was Izzy Fry in 31:47. So it's a decent close-ish race between those three. But yeah, that was the British 10,000 meter champs, done very quickly.
Merv went to watch it.
And amazing!
He got there, and he didn't realise that it was being live streamed. He was like, "Oh,
right.
for God's sake!"
And you know what he's like in front of cameras.
So he got out of there. Yeah, got out there sharpish.
Yeah.
But he said that Emil Caress was just warming up just in front of him. And he was like, just having a chat with, members of the public and people watching. Because it's just people just stood around the track. And he said it was very informal. And
it was free to get in, wasn't it? And
and I think, I could be wrong about this, but I think there were pacing lights, a bit like the Diamond League. They asked him at the start, like, what he wanted. And
the pacing lights were at 27:20 because that was the world champs qualifier time.
Yeah, that's what he said.
To qualify for the world champs was 27:20. And Emil Caress, he's going to the world champs for the marathon anyway, so he didn't really care whether he ran 20:20 or not. He just wanted to be as close to 27:20 as he could. So that's why he had the lights at that pace.
Where are the world champs this year?
China.
Right, okay. And will they be, because they're normally quite a, was it Budapest last year, maybe? I can't remember. One year it was Eugene, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Can you remember I chatted about this a few weeks back where I said it'll be strange because it's in, is it? No, is it China? It's in the same place that the Olympics were a couple of Olympics
What,
ago.
Beijing?
Do you know the COVID Olympics?
Oh, Japan.
Oh,
So it
sorry,
was
Japan.
Tokyo.
Sorry, Tokyo, not China. They're in Tokyo.
Because that was the
in
2020
Japan.
games that ended up being 2021, wasn't it?
2021. And yeah, I said, didn't I, a few weeks back, that it's going to be strange because the athletes that are going to the world champs will be able to
Yes.
actually experience Tokyo rather than just a room and the track.
Yes. Yeah, I've just
So-
you're absolutely bang on the money. It is Tokyo, and 2026, it's in Poland.
Oh,
So yeah,
but yeah, so that's why he had the lights at 27:20, is because that was the world champs qualifier, and he just wanted to see how close he could get to it.
yeah,
But yeah,
right, interesting.
Other bit of running news is something we should have mentioned over the last couple of weeks, but seeing as it is happening Thursday next week, we probably should mention it. And it is a bit of a celebration of women's running, which is good. And it is Faith Kipyegon and her breaking 4 attempt. So no woman has ever run under 4 minutes for the mile. Faith Kipyegon holds the world record, which she set at the Diamond League in July 2023. And that was 4 minutes and 7 seconds. Well, 4:07.64. So to run under 4 minutes, she's going to have to try and knock off 2 seconds per lap, which is quite a lot. And apparently, for her to break 4 minutes, she's got to go through 1,500 meters slightly quicker than her world record.
Wow.
And
So
then run
she's gonna
another
have to
100
be on
meters.
form.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So that's going to be, a tough ask, but it could be done because it's going to be an event like Eliud Kipchoge when he broke 2 in the marathon.
Yeah.
So the Ineos 159. So I think she's going to have pacers all the way around, which take around probably. I don't know if they've got any female pacers who are going to help her for a lap or 2 or something like that, but there might be male pacers who can run sub 4 miles that are going to be forming a shield for her, like they did for Kipchoge with his Flying V. But Nike have fully thrown everything at it because they have made a custom one of its kind speed suit for Faith Kipyegon called the Nike Fly Suit, and it's like one of a kind, and it's got little lumps all over it called aeronodes, which apparently help the flow of air go past you so you can cut through the air quicker.
What?
She's got a TPU 3D printed sports bra, which is like the lightest thing that could possibly be, called the Nike Fly Web bra. And then she's got a special pair of Nike Victory 2s, which are called the Nike Victory Elite FK for Faith Kipyegon. And they are carbon plated spikes, like running spikes, that same as the Nike Victories, but they've really cut the weight down on them loads to the point where they've put titanium spikes in the bottom just to cut a bit more weight off. So they are throwing everything at it to try and make it possible for her to do it. But even if she runs faster than 4:07 and is a new world record, that will be incredible. But to break 4 would be next level. So we shall see.
Because it's an unofficial world record anyway, and it wouldn't even count.
No.
I wonder why they would put spikes on her rather than alpha flies or street flies, like something that's maybe faster.
I would, I don't know whether street flies would be faster on the track because you haven't got as much grip. Because obviously with the spikes, you've got more grip on that track surface, which is designed specifically for running in spikes.
Yeah. I suppose a thousandth of a second per
Yeah.
step will all add
Yeah.
up, I guess, won't it?
And if you think about it, all of her races she does is in spikes. So she's used to running races in spikes. Put her in a pair of flats. Is she going to be able to run as well when she's not used to it?
Yeah, fair enough.
So,
well, that's what, this Thursday coming?
That's this Thursday. I think it's in Paris. I'm not sure. I think it is. But it apparently it's going to be streamed live on the Nike YouTube channel.
Okay, cool.
Or
so
Nike, if you're American.
To put that into context, have you ever run a 5-minute mile?
No, I've run under 5 minutes for the 1500 meters, but I've never run a mile race. I've never run an all-out mile. I'd like to think I could try and break 5 minutes, but I don't know.
So you'd be at like 5 minutes 10 or something like that. 5 minutes 15.
No,
at that pace. It's another 100 meters, isn't it? 15.
Yes,
a mile.
Yeah. Well, I ran. What did I run? I think I run something like this was part of the Vets League final where I ran 5 races in one day. I ran a 400 meters, an 800 meters, a 1500, a 3000, and then the 400 meter relay.
Right.
So as part of that, I think I ran 4:57 for the 1500 that day. So I would have come in around for the mile would have come in around 5:13, 15. Yeah. But I'd like to think, although at the moment I wouldn't be anywhere close, but I'd like to think at the fitness I was at London with a actually working body, I'd be close to 5 minutes, I would hope.
Right.
But a whole minute faster than that is crazy.
That is lightning fast, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that'd be interesting to see if she can do it.
Yes. So looking forward to that. But that is my running news done. So have you got any running news?
Yeah, I was going to say one thing that caught my eye. 2 things actually. Well, one of them was Leamington half marathon, which you just mentioned quickly in a minute.
Yeah.
The other thing was, did you see the thing about the BQ, the Boston qualifier?
Yes, so they've cancelled down the races. Yeah.
So basically, if you are submitting your marathon time, all right. So it says here, verified qualifying times from any course with a net downhill of between 3,000 and 5,999 feet, which is 914.2 meters, and 1,828.5 meters, will incur a 10-minute time adjustment. Any course with a net downhill of 6,000 feet, 1,800 meters or greater will not be allowed for Boston Marathon qualifying purposes. So what I get from that is a select few people have cottoned on.
Oh yeah,
that somewhere there is a really fast downhill marathon somewhere that just probably starts up a mountain and runs down a hill, and they're using that as a quad BQ.
Yeah, there's several marathons in America that are all downhill, and people go there specifically to try and run a Boston qualifier.
Right. Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
So I mean, that doesn't really affect us in the UK because we don't really have anything like that here, do we?
No.
We've got 914 meters the other way, but not 914 meters loss. And that's a hell of a downhill.
Yeah.
So that's the minimum between 900 and 1,800 meters, 3,000 and 6,000 feet basically. So that's a loophole that I'm sure a few people will be catching a few people out from 2026 onwards.
Yeah, definitely.
So 10 minutes penalty. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, definitely. But
did you run a BQ, by the way, in London?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you have any desire to apply for Boston next year?
1 year I will, but when I can afford it to do it properly. I want to do it Tommy D style.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. If I'm going to go and do Boston, I need to do it properly, don't I? You can't just go to Boston, run the marathon, and come home.
No, you need to be sick out of a taxi window at least once.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We got a puker.
I'm going to go and get one of them breakfast wraps.
Toronto Airport. Oh.
Yeah, I think you've got to do it properly, ain't you? So I think when I can afford to go and do it properly, I'll apply.
You can do a bit of a trip around America or beyond.
Or if there's any sponsors out there that want to pay me to go and do it, that would be nice.
Do Adidas sponsor Boston?
They do, yeah.
Oh, imagine that. That'd be good, wouldn't it? That would be good. But speaking of World Majors, happy Rejection Day yesterday, everybody.
Yeah.
So let us know.
I would say most of our listeners probably got a rejection. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't write to let us know that you didn't get it, because we know you didn't get it. But if you did get in, let us know, because you probably are the only person listening to this podcast that did. Apparently, not apparently, Jody from Crown My Run got in.
He did, yes.
I'm not sure how many times of trying that was for him. So that's pretty cool. But apart from him, I don't think I know anybody else that. Well, obviously, of course I don't. You got 1 in 1,000 chance of getting in, haven't you, or something?
Yeah.
So
it took me 13 years to get in through the ballot.
And that was when the ballot was easy.
Yeah, 12 years of no, and then 1 year of yes last year, and then another year of no this year. So
I think
13 to 1.
Yeah, I think we're all slowly coming to terms with the fact that if we want to, and the qualifying times are getting quicker, I think we're all, if you're like me, coming to terms with the fact that we're all going to have to run a 2:45 marathon to try.
I don't know. You're in a new age category next year, so it gets slower.
I am. Yeah, that's a good point. But I was having this conversation with Merv actually the other day at track, and he thinks he's got a theory that the 35 to 40 category is one of the better categories to find yourself in, because he says between 18 and 30 you've obviously got not a lot of chance of competing with some of the whippersnappers.
Yeah.
But between, was it 30 and 40 or 35 and 40, you're in there with people that have kind of lost fitness, or you're in there with, I don't know, people that are going off running or coming into it, because a lot of us get into running, myself included, in their 30s.
Yeah.
And then when they hit 40, times start, competition gets really fierce. Because 40 and above, between 40 and 50, it wouldn't surprise me if that's a quicker age cap than 35 to 40.
It's all the men going through their midlife crisis.
Yeah, and getting faster up until they're 50. So I wonder if there's any science behind this, but I wonder if runners who come into it late, and what I mean by late is 30s and 40s, will peak at 50 or around about that time, late 40s, 50.
Well, I'm still getting quicker, and I've never been quicker than in my life, and next year I'll be in the over 45 cap.
It's supposed to be getting easier, but everyone's getting faster around you, aren't they?
Yeah, so, but at least next year I'll get another 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So the over 40s qualifying time for London is 2:40. No, it's 2:57, whereas it's 3:02 for over 45s.
Yeah, I mean that is.
So next year when I run London, if I get into London with a good for age time from this year for next year, I can run a 5 minutes slower and still be all right.
Yeah. Or I was going to say, or you could go to like America and try and run one of those downhill ones. But I wonder if London, will start bringing those good for ages in now. But there's the good for age downhill course. Rules. So,
but I think Merv is probably right, because the 18 to 39 category, there's not that although it's very different now, actually. In the last couple of years, it's very different. But previously, there weren't many people under 39 who were even interested in running a marathon. As I say, it was all the older guys who were going through a midlife crisis that all wanted to go and do London. That was the main people who wanted to do it. And the young kids they weren't interested in running a marathon. Whereas now it's become quite trendy to run a marathon. So now everyone wants to run it, as you can tell by 1.1 million people entering the ballot.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to... I don't know. Do I still keep entering the ballot? Or do I just not enter and try and make it easier for somebody else by one person not entering it?
No, keep entering the ballot. Why would you not?
Well, I don't know. I think there'll be a little bit of guilt if I one day get a place in the ballot. I don't know. I don't know.
But you've got this. I mean, I did at first, but then I went, hang on, no, because I've entered with the same chance as everybody else. Why would I feel guilty for my name randomly being picked over someone else? Why have they got more priority than me to run the race? So
yeah,
nothing
just I know that people will have been trying for, fast forward 50 years. Yeah. There'll be people that have been trying 50, 60, 70 years or however old the ballot is, and they still won't have ever got in. So I think if you do get in, you should consider yourself extremely lucky. And if it's 1.1 million have entered for next year's marathon, it's going to be 2 million soon, isn't it? And that's going to become, I don't think it'll ever be 10 million, but you never know. It might be. Mm-hmm. But But I mean, okay, set the record straight for us. If you do get in, is it worth it?
Of course it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Is it the greatest race?
It's a bucket list race. You've got to go. Yeah. You've got to try and do it one day. So just keep on trying in that ballot, and because it is bucket list worthy, definitely. I mean, it's changed over the years. It's very crowded now because there is 20,000 more people running it, and still the same width of road. And same time period that they've got to get everybody through from the start to the finish. So it is a lot more crowded now, but just the experience of running it, yes, you've got to do it.
Okay, there you go.
So that means in Valencia, you need to run 2:57.
Yeah, I could do that. First off.
First off.
So well, we shall see. I don't know how I'll train on the road leading up to Valencia, but we shall see. But should we mention quick? By the way, I don't know if you've seen me scanning the floor. I dropped my pen about 20 minutes ago, and I can't find it anywhere. So, shall we just quickly move on to the Leamington half marathon? Because you went to watch it while I find my pen.
Yeah. So on Sunday was the Leamington Spa half marathon, and it is run by a company called Raceways, who very kindly asked me last year at one of their races if I would be one of their running ambassadors. So I went over to spectate. Obviously, I couldn't run this year. I wanted to be running as a running ambassador, but unfortunately, I can't run. So, it's found it. Amazing. So I still went over anyway. Brilliant. So I went over to spectate and watch anyway, and I filmed some footage and stuff, which I still need to put together into a little bit of a video. But yeah, it was a really good day, really good atmosphere, stupidly hot for a half marathon, but Leamington half always seems to be stupidly hot. I don't know what it is, but they manage to get the weather every year. But yeah, it was really hot. I saw a few people there running, so didn't actually manage to chat with them and catch them, but Mom was there. He had what he said was a shocker and ran his fastest time he's ever run there. So his
shows his
shocker,
progress, really, doesn't it?
yeah, his shocker of he had to stop and walk up a few hills and stop at a couple of water stations to get some water on. He still ran 1:25, so which is mental.
On one hand, I get that because people go, "Oh, you ran 1:25. You can't be annoyed at that." Like, I get that because I've never run 1:25 in my life, but I totally get being disappointed in your time.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Even if it is a fast time, because your slow is somebody else's fast.
Yeah,
but
and if you're running a race and you've got to stop and walk, it is a shocker because if you're having to stop, so yeah, it did have a shocker, and I can understand why he's not as happy as he should be. But 1:25 is still an awesome time on that course and in that weather. So
he's done absolutely brilliantly well, and don't forget he's chatting the whole way round to his camera, probably trying to engage conversation to other, members of the public, members of the race to try and take their place, to try and tire them out.
Yeah, so, playing mince or mince.
Career or career.
Yeah, and actually, I watched his video of it, and he what's called Kieran, because I saw Kieran Deegan run past as well. So as I say, didn't manage to chat to him, but I saw him run past. And in Mom's video, how
much has that annoyed you?
You're disgusting.
Pepsi
anyway,
Max is phenomenal. It's better than Coke Zero.
You are wrong in every way. It's way too sweet, and it's wrong. Anyway,
is the winner.
So I saw Kieran Deegan run past, but at the end of Mom's video, he says that he saw Mom stop and walk. So Kieran was like, "Oh, I'll catch up Mom and have a bit of a chat." And then as Kieran got close to him, Mom started running again.
So I'm sure it's not personal, Kieran.
Like, oh, that's a bit rude. But there we go.
Classic Mom.
So yeah,
as anyone comes near him, he runs off.
Exactly, and then as soon as the race is finished, he's off. Doesn't stop to speak to anyone. But also there was Beardy Rich, who ran well, got a course PB, which was good. Yeah, and Sam Bauer was there as well. Cool. But yeah, it was a really good day. Really good.
Good. Yeah, but I think if you ran whatever you did last weekend, well, let's be honest. For the next couple of months, it's going to be like this, isn't it?
Yeah.
We should obviously keep, shaking the tree and keep pushing as hard as we can. But also, we should all probably be a little bit more kind to ourselves if things don't go our way. Yeah. I don't know the science. I'm sure you do. I don't know why it's harder, but it is. I don't know if we're taking on less oxygen or if it's literally the level of heat of your body temperature is higher. I don't know what it is. It's just harder. It literally is just harder, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's heat training. So heat training is like going to altitude. It has the same sort of effect. So make the most of it, but don't push too hard and really wilt in the sun.
Maybe we should have SPBs, summer PBs.
Yes,
it's, an SPB. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done to all at Leamington last week.
Yeah, it was a good day. And then on Wednesday I went and marshalled at a race as well. It was the midweek series, which is a series of 4 races that happen on a Wednesday, run by 4 different clubs. And on Wednesday this week, it was Bromsgrove and Redditch turn to host the event. So it was a 12K trail race around Arra Valley Park. So it went out around through the woods and all sorts, and out through by Ipsley and up the hills and around there, down by the church and around the BMX park and those football fields, and then back up into the lake and around the lake, but through all the not muddy bits because it's really dry at the moment, but all the trail bits. But yeah, it was really good. Really nice to see loads of people going for it on a Wednesday evening in the sun.
Yeah, awesome.
But yeah, it was baking.
Was that the last trail race you did?
No,
Wasn't that your infamous? Wasn't that your
No.
infamous trail race?
no, that was sorry, I've just accidentally kicked me charge cable. No, that was, I've never actually done the midweek series. That was a different trail race.
Right.
That was a 10K. Years ago.
Because you did your ligaments or something, didn't you, that day?
Well, I rolled my ankle at 7K and fell flat on my face on the floor.
Ooh.
Jumped back up and went, "Oh, that hurts," and then carried on running and raced to the finish. And as soon as I crossed the finish line, my ankle ballooned to about twice the size. And I had to go to hospital and be in a boot for weeks.
I've done my ligaments before, and I've heard people say this: doing your ligaments is worse than a break. I think.
Yeah, it takes longer to heal. Yeah,
it was. I remember having the same thing that I did, and it's like you just don't. You look down at your ankle, you don't recognize it as part of your body, do you? It looks like it's like got a bowling ball in between your knee and your feet. Yeah. Your ankle just looks swollen, like both sides of it, and it's just really, really. Yeah, it's really bad, isn't it?
Yeah, because apparently, like your ligaments and your tendon, it's harder to get the blood flow through them.
Yeah.
As opposed to your muscle and everything like that. So because there's less blood flow through them, they take longer to heal.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
But no, it was good. Yeah, really good. Was there any other races that happened? I know you did one on the weekend.
There probably was.
Other than that.
There probably was. Well done if you raced last Sunday.
Yeah.
We've forgotten to mention it.
Yeah. But with that done, probably time to hear about your training week and your summer of speed. Summer of speed.
Summer of speed. Okay. Well, it won't take long because there hasn't been that much of it. I'm increasing my mileage slightly, which I wanted to do, and I'm glad I'm doing that. But it started last Saturday. Do you remember me saying I was going for a trail adventure?
Yes.
So we got up early. We got up at 5 o'clock, and we got on the road, and we went down to Dorset. The closest sort of place that I've heard of was Swanage on the south coast, which is where they go on a field trip on the In-Betweeners. And there's a boat on the.
Okay, yeah.
there's a fish on the boat, and Simon jumps in the water, falls in the water. Yeah,
I'm not eating that. It's come out the water.
Will you lick my cornetto? So I wish I'd have said that to a few people, but I didn't. And so Laura and I went down. Laura's first race for a long, long time, which was great. So Laura, me, and Daisy went down there. And we did the short. They do a short, middle, and a long, and we did the short one. So you could say that's a bit extreme, isn't it? Going for a 7K race, but it was just what we wanted to do, and what the heart wants. The heart wants. And mate, I've been going.
The photos you put up of it. Oh man,
yeah, it's a magical place down there.
I'm not surprised you travelled that far for those views. It was incredible.
When you live at where we live, we don't get to see those epic Jurassic Coast sea views very often. And it's, it was really special. It was really nice. And I wanted, Laura hadn't done any kind of running for a long, long time. And we just did it as like a run, walk, hike sort of thing. And I think she really enjoyed it. And that was the main thing. We just wanted to me, Laura and Daisy, just to have a bit of a day out by the seaside, but mixing some activity in there as well, an event. And that's what we did. So we got round safe and sound. And the whole thing, by the way, was 200 meters of gain. So that was 600 foot, I think.
Oh, wow.
So bit of a baptism of fire for Laura getting back into it. Yeah. And that 600 foot was in one hill as well, but in coming back up the hill. So, I'm quite proud of Laura for getting around there. That was really good. And then Sunday, finished off my week of running with a long run. That was the same day as Leamington. And I remember thinking, thank God I'm not racing today, because I went out at 7 o'clock and I had to stop and walk at 10K, and I was doing an easy run.
Oh, wow.
I ended up doing 24K. So it's about, 15 mile or something, 14, 15. and just went into Worcester and back. Night kept it fairly reasonably flat, which was nice. So that finished off my week of running, which was about 60k. Can you hear a meowing? I think that's Ola meowing. If you can hear a cat, I think that's my mother-in-law's cat. She can probably hear me. She never hears me out the window. Yeah. Basically, we've got cats that live with us, and she's probably confused, thinking, "Why can I hear people?" Anyway, and then didn't run Monday. Had Monday off, and then Tuesday, I didn't have Monday off. I went for a run Monday. I've been having Mondays off, and I decided to do something I've made up called hilltervals. So intervals on the hills.
Yeah.
So because my local 10k loop is quite
basically
hilly.
hill reps, yeah.
Basically, yeah. But instead it was just one long hill rep. And you know that loop we did months and months ago when I was training for Valencia? Yeah, I did that loop, and I did 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, so like a pyramid session, minutes on, with a minute off each time, 60 seconds off, at 5k pace or 5k effort. Whatever was in front of me, I was trying to run at sort of 350 a k, so quite fast, which is like, I don't know, 1930 parkrun pace, 5k pace. And I was struggling. I did 2 lots of that with a hill in the middle. So I did the hill as recovery, but then when I came down the hill, I did the second lot a lot quicker actually, and I was really pleased with that, because that went really quite well. I'll just quickly, I mean, no good to you if you're listening to this, but there's my little graph, my little workout. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, nice.
It's like a little pyramid. So I did 1 minute on, 2 minutes on, 3 minutes on, 2 minutes, 1 minute, with 60 seconds recovery, and it felt really good. So did that, and then Tuesday went to a club session, and that was grass session, and that one was called a Parlauf session.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I dodged this one last time they did it because I think I was in training. I was tapering for Leeds. That's it. So we just did easy reps around the field while they were doing it. And it's a partner session. And the idea is you need to partner up with someone who runs relatively similarly to you. Otherwise, they'll get all the recovery and you won't.
Yeah.
And you basically run, we did like a 500 meter loop of the field in like a figure of 8. So if you were an A, you did one loop while the other one did the other. And then we had 3 minutes off in the middle, and then we swapped loops. So one of them was ever so slightly harder than the other. And that was a really interesting way to run really hard, because you kind of want to run it evenly for your partner as well. But you also don't want to do yourself a disservice, because if you start slowing down, they won't. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to, there's almost a little bit of competition there as well, because there's other people running around as well. And part of you is thinking that race day mentality, and you think, I could probably have them now, even though they're your club mates and it's Tuesday night on the field. But
friendly competition's brilliant, isn't it? Because it pushes you on and urges you to go faster. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it was, a little bit of that. So that was good. And that's called a Parlauf session. And I ended up doing 10k on the day, and the 500s on the grass were 5k pace. So I was quite pleased with
how
that.
Many of the 500s were there?
There were 6 in each set, so 12 in total.
Cool.
So it was quite a heavy session. And then it wasn't 500 meters. I think it was 3. I'm going to have to just really quickly double check that, because I don't want to say some misinformation. It was, each rep was, I think it was, that's correct, 300 meters. And I was doing them in 66 seconds. So roughly 3:35 a k. Someone's going to probably shout at me for that, because it's Garmin. It's probably incorrect, but it's around about that. So it's probably even faster than 5k pace for me. But it was only 300 meters, but there were 12 of them. So there was a lot.
Yeah.
And then that brought me to Wednesday. Now, a follower of my YouTube channel called Brad, sent me a message on Tuesday night and said, "Are you doing the Malvern 10k?" I said no. And then from that moment, that turned into a yes. And I went on the website, because curiosity killed the cat and all that. And yeah, I thought, yeah, go on, why not? So I'm not doing anything else on Wednesday night. So I went down to Malvern. Did there's a club in Malvern called the Malvern Joggers, and it's their 10k, and it's basically a trail. They call it a multi or mixed terrain 10k.
Yes.
And I thought it probably won't be that bad. I know it's gonna be bad, but it won't be that bad. It was worse than that bad. It was. I would go as far as to say it was the hardest race I've ever done. Now, the clue in the hardness factor was it was a 10k. So in your head, you're thinking, I need to run at 10k pace. You can't run at 10k pace up a hill like that. It's like 45 degrees, but it's not going to stop you trying. You're going to still do it, aren't you? So I looked at the course elevation and I decided that I was going to pace the first 6k to the top of one of the hills and then race the last 4k. And I said to myself, between 50 and 55 minutes, bear in mind my PB's 41, between 50 and 55 is probably expected, but sub 50 would be a good result. I came in at 49.32.
Ooh, excellent.
And that probably sounds a little bit like I wasn't putting much effort in, but it was disgraceful. It was disgusting. It was so hard. But have you heard of the phrase? It was brutal because it was so brutal. But the scenery was just beautiful because I love the Malverns. I knew kind of that area, but I found some new trails because of this race. And I tell you what you'll like. When I started racing it, I didn't get overtaken for the last 4K. And I took about, and it doesn't sound a lot, but I overtook about 10 people. Nice. And I ended up I should know this, but I don't. I finished about 28th out of 200. Nice. So I was quite pleased with that. And do you know what absolutely just killed me? I was like, mate, you didn't need to say that. You just ruined my evening. I was running round this corner and there was 5 or 6 of us running round. And this marshal said to me, you look comfortable, mate. I reckon you could do this by the end of that little stretch. And he's got in my head. He's absolutely got in my head, this marshal. And I thought, the people pleaser in me, he won't like it if I don't overtake these guys. So I literally put the burners on for no reason at all and overtook them all.
How far from the finish was this?
That was about 6.5k. So that was 500 meters into racing it. So I was racing on fumes for the last 3.5k. Brilliant. And it was all uphill to finish. It was, oh my God. So the last, and when you forget about these what I forgot about these trail races is there are obstacles, which you don't get in road races. So one of them was a stile. There were 2 stiles on the last run up to the finish. Unfortunately, it was just a step over style. It wasn't like I have to climb over it, if you know what I mean. So it was only like, 12 inches high. But the second one I did in a row, I literally couldn't pick my feet up and I nearly fell when I put my foot down, head over, like literally face planted because my legs had just turned to jelly. Managed to somehow get to the end. And I managed to track down a guy who was, no joke, I'd say 500 meters away from me, going into about the last 2K. He was a dot on the horizon and he finished about 2 meters ahead of me. And as we were coming around this last corner, I saw this on Sam Lighted Up's video. He did exactly the same. This guy was sort of goading me. He was like, come on, let's go. He was wanting me to race him on this last corner. And I tried and my legs were already jelly. And I later realized that this guy's like a seasoned trail runner. He's a fell runner, apparently. He beat me over the line. But I checked his chip time and I beat him by a second. So I'm the real winner.
Well, there we go then. Perfect.
And so I reeled him in by nearly, I'd say, 500 meters, which I was really pleased with. And but yeah, so that was good. That was one of those races where time is almost irrelevant because you can't measure road to trail. And I just think it was good for me to work. So obviously we know I don't do any S&C or anything, but that's as close as I'm going to get.
Yeah.
So
S&C in disguise. Just go and run up some hills.
Yeah, and run down them. God, that one of the hills running down it at 10k pace on the. I tell you what was really not confusing, but was really made me even more exhausted was the concentration levels needed to run a hilly traily 10k, because not only are you looking for your foot placement, because by now it's half light, it's like 9 o'clock at night, 8:30. So not only, and you're running just behind the person in front of you, and you're almost trying to hope that you can land where they land. But you've also got to look ahead of you and hope you don't run into a branch or some brambles. So you've got to be almost hyper aware of your surroundings, and it's exhausting. And it made me even more tired. But yeah, so I was really pleased to get round in sub 50.
Did you film it? Yeah. Good.
Yeah, so I'm making a video. I've made a video of that.
Nice.
And so a lot of heavy breathing. And there was one bit where there was a water station, plastic cups. Cups.
Ugh.
So there were two water stations. On the second one, I just said to them, just throw it over me. I'm not even going to attempt to take it. So all three of these little kids just literally launched their water at me. And it felt good for about 5 seconds. But after that, the other obstacle I forgot to mention was I jumped in a bog. Everyone else ahead of me was leaping over this bog that was, had some like warning tape around it. I leapt into it. I landed in the thing. So and that was a bit. What? I hadn't even done a K. I landed my left foot in the bog, ankle deep. One of my feet looked like I'd just trodden in tarmac, unset tarmac. So that made my left foot approximately 8 kilos heavier because I had half of that bog in my shoe. So that was quite interesting.
Did you do that in sympathy for me? So you were running like me at the moment.
Yeah, it looked like I had your boot on. It really did. It really did. So if there was a photographer there, you probably would have seen me looking like I've got your boot on.
Brilliant.
But yeah, so that was Wednesday, and then this morning I had Thursday off, and this morning Friday I went for a little easy,
nice
6k. What's that? 4 miles around the lanes. But yeah, it's been a good week so far. It's been hot, nice. And that's another ingredient to add into that trail. That it was 20 odd degrees by like 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So I was even more pleased that I managed to get round and finish fairly strong. So yeah, I think I would do that again.
Yeah.
As crazy as it was, and shout out to a few people. Aveen, who we hear on the pod quite often, I think she finished 4th, lady.
Oh, amazing.
And Henry, her other half, Henry Pugh, finished 4th overall.
Oh, wow.
He said he was in a battle for 2nd, and right at the last hill where the stiles were, 2nd and 3rd just started to pull away, and he said he just didn't have the legs to get up the hill. And I met a guy called Brad down there. He was the guy who texted me saying, do you want to do it? There was also a 5k, and he came 2nd in that. So shout out to Brad.
Excellent.
And Jack as well, who's in charge of the Suckley Quarter Marathon.
Mm-hmm.
Saw her down there who did the 5k as well. So she said she had a good time as well.
Nice.
So all round, it was a good evening, and successful.
Good. Sounds like a good week. Nice. Yeah. Right. So next on the list is
the big one.
Yeah, we need to talk about our little idea we had and released into the wild last week. And I honestly thought that if we get 10, maybe 20 entries into it, that would be pretty good, and we'd have done quite well. But we have managed, with all of you lovely people who have either DM'd us or emailed us this week, we have managed to get 50 people entered into our Parkrun challenge, which we need a name for. And
we've had some good suggestions.
We did have some great suggestions, and I also put it out on the Instagram to ask which people's favourite was and what we they think we should call it. And we had some good suggestions. One of them was running the red leaderboard. Well, that was quite cool. Another one was based on your friend's quiz.
It's my personal favourite.
Yeah, and it was a PB buffet.
That PB buffet, that is good. That is good.
It is. That is fantastic. That is a great play on words.
That really is.
Someone else said Park Slam. The next one was the Red Line Royal Rumble, which
I like that.
I do. RRR, Red Line Royal Rumble.
League of Legends. That's a good one.
Yeah. Parkrun PB Challenge or Grand Slam Parkrun. But I think.
Oh, hang on.
Go on then.
There's another Friends. It's from Sam.
Oh, go on then.
This just to make me even more angry. He's put when the times start to pour. It's not full. It's not full.
Actually, we should call it full. Yeah. When the PB times start to fall, that's what we should call it.
Do you know what? Do you know if you want to see the real Brett Elesmore as well? The same pub, I kid you not, is having a Star Wars themed quiz.
Oh.
So this could be your chance to lose your head as well.
Yes, I probably will. I'm not sure I could do it. Especially if it's the same quizmaster who hasn't got a clue.
Hang on, I feel like as well you were just about to read the one we're going to go for.
Yes.
But have you seen Mark Hurdy-Gurdy's?
No.
The Partridge Parkrun League. We've got here Red Line and Recline. PB or not PB. So we've had quite a few.
Like
Chasing the Barcode.
Nice.
And the Parkrun Palooza. Yeah, so we've had a fair few.
Yeah,
we've had a fair few, but I think we're in agreement, aren't we, with the one?
Yes, I think we've gone for one which just sort of makes sense, and the most straightforward one. It's not the most exciting and comedic, but I think it's the one that makes the most sense, and it is. Would you like to announce our title?
It is called Parkrunning the Red Line.
There we go. So Parkrunning the Red Line, just nice and straightforward. Put park in front of our name, and there we go.
Yeah.
So so our little idea of Parkrunning the Red Line, we went through it last week, and we have invited as many of you who wanted to get in touch. The deadline for entries was 7:00 tonight, just before we came on to record the pod. And we have had 50 entries. We invited them to send in their Parkrun barcode number and their PB, their current Parkrun PB. And we are going off Parkrun PB, not your 5K PB, because we're going off what happens at Parkrun rather than other races. And we have put them into a spreadsheet, which I spent doing until 3:00 in the morning last night, and making it look pretty. And we've put a couple of graphs in there where it is going to show the difference between your PB and your 6 times over the 6 weeks. So it's a 6-week challenge. And I've also made a graph where it will show how many seconds above or below that PB is each week. People can either try and do it every 6 weeks. Every one of the 6 weeks. So every week for 6 weeks, go out and try and hit a PB time. Or they can do it every other week. Or they could do it 2 times during the 6 weeks. Or they could just wait until the 6th week and go completely all out in that last week of the 6 to try and get as close to or under their PB as possible. And the leaderboard, the table, will all go off how many seconds you are above or below your PB. So it doesn't go off who is fastest or anything like that, the person you are challenging the most is yourself to try and break your PB and break it by the most amount. And then that will then put you in the leaderboard. So it could be that your PB is 40 minutes and you run 39:45. You get 15 seconds. Whereas someone who runs 17 could run 16:50 and you've still beaten them, even though you're running 40 minutes. So it all goes off how many seconds above or below your PB you are. So it is an equal playing field, and all is to play for.
Do you know what I find quite heartbreaking for a couple of people?
Oh,
this happened to at least one person I know, and I'm going to shout him out now. Who I met at Wire Forest last one time.
I would say we've had 4 or 5 messages where they've said exactly the same.
Well, Alex Bowden, who I met at the Wire Forest Parkrun not long ago with his bro, Adam, got a PB last week on Saturday before we released the podcast, and he went sub 20 as well.
Yeah.
He's got a 19:50 now to try and beat.
Yeah.
So, And he's entered himself into it as well. So
I would say, 4 or 5 people actually said that in the messages, which is, brilliant. That is real bad timing, but fantastic that you're running such good times at this point in the year. So,
And they're just numbers. And if you're on good form, who knows? The sky's the limit for you. And do you know, one quick thing is, one of my favorite things about this is the range of numbers we've got, the range of ability, which I love. So we've got people who are almost up to sort of 40 minutes, right down to high 16s, low 17s. So we've got a real broad spectrum of.
I think we've got
abilities.
someone who is in the 15s. I think,
Have we?
We've got Joe Donkin, who is on 15:39 for his PB.
Flipping hell. God, you're right. 15:39.
Yeah. Oh, and KQ, who is on 16:05, did tell us a little porky and said his PB was 16:02. But I did some digging and found his Parkrun profile, and his PB is 16:05. But by telling us a faster PB, he was actually doing himself a disservice, because he was taking 3 seconds away from himself. He's now got 3 more seconds to play with.
Yeah, that's you've just made it a bit easier. And also, I just want to say a shout out to a few people who wanted to enter but can't because they don't have a parkrun. So Mark with a C, all the way from Spain, near Barcelona, who said, I'll just stick to the what did he just say? I think I'll just stick to the Strava segment, thanks. To the elevation Strava segment, because he basically just lives in the mountains all week. And we had John Braz as well, who's from Madeira, who, just to walk to the shops is about 14,000 meters of elevation. So, he's there's no parkrun over on Madeira either. So feel free to have an unofficial attempt at the game over the next 6 weeks.
Yeah. But I think we're going to do at least a top 10 each week, just to see who's getting closest to their PB each week. But as we said, you haven't got to go out every week and try and break your PB every week. If you want to leave it a couple of weeks and get some training sessions in before you go out and try it, please do that. Don't think you've got to try and do it every week just to get onto that leaderboard. But just quickly, I'm going to reel through all the names, because I know some people was in their messages said, I think this is really cool because I've got no chance of ever having my name read out on the Strava segment. So to have their name in this would be really cool. So just quickly, and as you noticed from the spreadsheet earlier, when you were going, what's happened to that person? They were on it. Where are they? I've alphabeticalized them on surname.
It really has.
Yeah.
Quarter to 3 it was up to.
So Jordan Adams, Sam Bacon, Gaz Barker, Harrison Bean, Carl Bennett, Adam Bowden, Alexander Bowden, Paul Brogdon, Craig Brooks, Conrad Burdekin, Peter Chadwick, Lee Chesterton, James Clifton, Ryan Cornell, Brett Crow, Chris Dorr, Kieran Deegan, Avine Digby, Terry Doherty, Erica Donkin, Joe Donkin, Tom Ellerton, Will Ford, Mark Griffiths, Mark Hurd, Steve Hobson, Elizabeth Johnson, Hayley Kirkham, Jordan Knapp, Simon Lee, Andy Maguire, Neil Marsh, Max McCall, Martin Maguire, David Merritt, Gavin Miscally, Mark Mystery Burton, Matthew Morris, Lee Neal, Will Packham, Tom Painter, Kaylee Pickersgill, Cole Quiney, Reese Porter, Andy Richmond, Freddie Runs, who is actually registered with Parkrun as Freddie Runs.
That's his name. That's his actual name.
Yeah. Robert Scott, Matt Southam, and Rick Taylor. So, yes, thank you very much to every single one of you. I also was going through it, trying to find out who had got the lowest Parkrun serial number, barcode number, to see who had registered with Parkrun the earliest.
Yeah.
And the winner for that was Matt Southam, who is in the 30,000s rather than millions as we are now.
Oh God, yeah, 7-digit numbers.
Yeah,
we're up to, aren't we? He's got a 5-digit number.
Yeah, so there we go. But yeah, thank you so much to everybody who is who has entered. As I said, we have got graphs. I don't know if you can see that on the screen.
We've
got graphs.
Believe us, there are graphs.
Yeah. So there are graphs there, which
graphs for days
will show all of the data, and there is another graph at the top, which is going to show all of the data. So yeah, I am looking forward to putting that all together, and adding the new numbers and new times each week on this Parkrun in the Red Line challenge.
I think this is a good little idea. We've had some good feedback. We haven't even started it yet. So officially, it starts tomorrow. And as the time of listening to this, you will have had your first attempt at it.
Yes.
But yeah, like we've had quite a few messages saying, yeah, this sounds like a good idea, including one from Leggett Lee, who was one of our 11th hour entrants this evening. And he said, I'm using this as a bit of a goal/inspiration. And for that, I thank you guys. Stop it, you. Stop it, you.
But so, it is awesome. I honestly can't believe that many people wanted to be part of our silly little idea that we came up with one day.
Genuinely thought this would be a handful of people, 6, 7 people, 50 people. We should be charging for this. We're doing this for free. What are we doing?
I know the amount of admin I'm going to have to do is just gone up massively. But no, it's good.
Yeah, this should be a good little bit of fun, shouldn't it? And it'll be a big segment. So the Parkrun in the Red Line segment should be. And I tell you what, why don't you, if you do an attempt each week or whenever you do one, if you want to, just send us a quick DM, a voice note when you've just crossed the line, so we can hear you breathing out of your anus.
Yeah. When you've just hit the red line and you were Parkrun in the red line. Yeah.
And just let us know how it went, where you ran. And we've got some people, by the way, that are international runners, haven't we?
Yeah. We've got people in Australia, people in New Zealand, people all over the place.
There could be people who've got an advantage because it could be winter.
Oh, yes, people. It is winter over there now.
Some of our Aussies, yeah.
So,
yes.
Some people from Oceania.
Yeah. Well, send us a voice note if you can remember to. We'd love to hear from you. And if it's PC, if it's clean, we'll play it.
Yes. Also, if you are doing it and you make an attempt, share some photos on Instagram and tag us in them, and then we can share them on our Instagram and get everybody involved and get this community of everybody giving it their all at Parkrun. Let's share it out to everybody. So if you do a challenge, make sure you tag us in your photos of Parkrun.
Yeah, but please Don't like knock over old ladies or or like elbow a marshal out the way because it might get you a second on your park.
Yeah.
So we should have signed some. We should have issued some waivers for people to sign.
Parkrun the red line with care.
Yes.
Yeah, and we are not held responsible for any casualties.
Yeah, but no, we're looking forward to seeing what you all get up to and how it all goes. You know, some of you, some of you won't maybe PB. Hopefully, you will. But if you don't, that's not what it's about.
No.
It's about using this time to maybe just have a little target or have a bit of fun with parkrun, or maybe parkrun a little bit different on a Saturday morning. Might give you something to look forward to on every 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning. And as we said, we'd love to hear from you and how it went. And there's a good community of us. There'll be a lot of people keen to know how the leaderboard is looking.
Yes, and we will share it on our Instagram page as well. We will share snapshots of the leaderboard and everything. So yeah, it should be fun.
So good, bad, or ugly, let us know how it goes, because you could be Dave Rowbottom's. You could be this week's biggest bonker. So let us know. Bonker of the week. But yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing how everybody gets on.
Definitely. Yeah, it'll give me something else to keep my mind off my leg being in that silly boot. Yeah.
Whilst you've mentioned him, can I just say something, an apology to Freddie Runs, because we got off this podcast last week.
Oh, yes.
I texted him, said, best of luck for tomorrow, mate. I said, you're going to smash it. Doubt me now. That's your mantra. And he's like, cheers, mate. What for? Endure 24, best of luck for it. He's like, cheers, mate. It's in 2 weeks. So I just wished him good luck for his parkrun last week. So, if you are doing the Leeds Endure 24, don't panic. It's not last week.
Yeah.
So, sorry to anyone I might have worried.
Yeah. And is almost as good as dates as he is at numbers and maths.
Yeah. So, apologies if I worried anybody.
But, what's next? Next is comments and emails. So,
yes,
let me grab the comments and let's go through those quickly. What we got? So, got a few comments on your Vet League 3,000 meters video, which was awesome. Cool. Thank you so much for everybody for watching that. That's had some good views numbers. So it's nice to know people are tuning in.
Yep.
So first one is from Liger Pride, and they say brilliant time. John Comrie says brilliant, pal, and Matt Selvum says have more faith in yourself, Andy. So they were all pretty impressed with your 3,000, but yes, you do need to have more faith in yourself. You are faster than you think.
Yeah, maybe I am.
Yeah. Next one is from Liger Pride on last week's episode, and they say, RE the Friends quiz. It's odd that they'd ask that question without checking the right answer. Surely they should stick to the right one. Just backing you up. Surely.
Don't.
Should.
You'll find out on the Star Wars quiz.
Yeah. The next one's from Dean Summerton, and he says, superb performance, Andy, for your 3,000 meters. On last week's episode, Manchester Kev Runs says, Andy, you shouldn't have followed up the quiz story with, I ran a 3,000 kilometer race. I was crying laughing at both of those. You said, I've done a 3,000 kilometer race.
Oh, yeah, 3,000 kilometer race.
Yeah.
That's what it
there
felt
we
like.
go. Kieran Turner says, great pod as always, guys, and thanks for your support. I didn't drive home. I stayed in a travel lodge 20 minutes away. As for sleeping that night, there was no recorded data through my watch due to the restless legs. A week on, and it's starting to get better. Not sure what's better, the 100-mile t-shirt or the Strava segment win? Brett's
Hey.
roaming eye. A laughing face, obviously. Brilliant. Next one's from Martin Lee, and on the 3,000 meter video, it says, great video. Didn't ever hear you mention Brett's haircut. So I guess that's the first time he's actually, I guess he's a listener and has finally seen me without the long hair, which, it's, I've got to say, it's much easier to control and much easier in the mornings.
This time of year, you must be pleased. Yeah.
Yes, very much so. Next one is from Alex B. Official, and I do quite like this. I love how you tell us at the start of the episode that doing challenges for videos interferes with training. They're not practical and just an overall hassle if you want to take running as serious as we all do. To then go on multiple times later in the pod to tell us how challenges you did were great and that you'd be up for another challenge at Legoland.
Yeah. Anybody fancy a parkrun challenge?
Don't ever change, chaps. Great pod as always. Yeah, we're full of contradictions. But I think what we meant with a challenge at Legoland was to go. Was there any races there that we could go and race? It was more of let's go in, do the Merlin entertainment races rather than a challenge. But then he's back, Alex B, with just to add as well the discussion around super shoes and injury risk. Super shoes can aid massively in recovery times. Yes, they can. And key workouts. The takeaway from that podcast wasn't to avoid super shoes altogether due to greater injury risk. It was to have a balance in your training. Yeah, and I agree with that completely. Yeah, you should have a shoe rotation where you're training with all different types of shoes. And yeah, super shoes can really help with recovery. That's why some of the top marathon runners are being able to recover like they are to be able to go and race as well as they are. Kind of like the 80-20 rule. Most of your training should be done in normal shoes to allow the ligaments, muscles, and allow for adaptations to happen. Then saving super shoes for the big workouts to put less strain through those ligaments and muscles, etc. Hope that makes sense. Found it quite interesting. Sorry for the long one. Don't be sorry at all, Alex. Yeah, it's all very true. That's what I try and do. I try and keep my super shoes for my one big workout before the marathon, and then for the marathon itself, and all my other training is done in normal shoes. I think you're pretty much the same, aren't you? No carbon plate shoes for...
No, not if I don't have to run in them, but I do think it's really useful to wear them, especially if it's like a dress rehearsal, you know, it's the first time wearing the shoes. But I do think, I was having this chat with Beardy Rich, it is good to use them in training sparingly because they make you run differently. You run differently and almost more economically in them than you do your other training shoes. So sometimes your gait cycle or the load that you carry through your stride is slightly different in carbon plated shoes. So yeah, it's definitely worthwhile. I'm not saying wear them 3 times a week, but at least one long run before your marathon. Yeah. Because you do run differently.
Very much so.
Carbons. Yeah.
Next one's from Steve Hardy and says, can just imagine Andy kicking off like Johnny Vegas in Benidorm when he loses the quiz.
I love that show, Benidorm.
Yeah.
Johnny Vegas is brilliant in that.
Fair play, though, for getting the most expensive pudding. Got to be done.
On the Oracle. Yeah, he was known as the Oracle, Johnny Vegas's character, because he always knew all the answers to the question, the Oracle.
Brilliant. I didn't really watch Benidorm, to be honest. That was one that passed me by. But yeah. Next one is Freddie, and he has left us a comment to call us out. And he says, thanks for the shout out, boys. You got the dates wrong, though. Endure 24 Leads is Saturday the 28th. But he says, I've saved half an episode of the pod to get me through the full event. Watch out for next year's ticket release. It happens straight after the event. See you both on the start line for Endure 24 Leads 2026.
So tempting.
Mm-hmm.
Tempting.
Yeah, and then straight afterwards, Matt Salvums put Reading or Leeds endure 2024 running the red line team. Just saying, could be an epic weekend.
It could be, couldn't it?
It could indeed be. We shall see.
You know what's going to happen, though? It's just going to be a race between us, isn't it? And we're all going to end up running 400 miles. I'll do one more lap than you.
Yeah. You're going out for another lap. I'll join you. But you can't walk,
I can
mate.
do one more.
It's all right. I can do it.
I'm fine. You're literally asleep. I'm fine.
Moley said that to me once. Because, Moley's done like 120 something marathons in his time.
Yeah,
he said once he fell asleep during a marathon whilst he was running. Actually fell asleep whilst he was running.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. I'm sure Kieran Turner said the same when he did his 100 miler that once as well.
Yeah, he was doing an ultra.
It is possible to do it. You almost have like a micro sleep sort of thing.
Yeah. Madness. But there we go. And then next one, RMSM 0204 says, great video, chaps. Hope you're recovering well, Brett, and great work, Andy, on your 3,000 meters. And then Inga says, Inga DK says, this was great and a well done time too. You can be a proud man. You looked as if you were in quite effortless and look relaxed, in fact. Congratulations, Andrew. So, looking relaxed on your 3,000 meter all-out effort. That's all right.
That's basically
I reckon you can have them round the corner, mate. I reckon you can have them round the corner. I know you're only 2 laps in, but I reckon you can have them.
That's one way of saying you weren't trying hard enough, isn't it? You look relaxed.
And the last one is from Ian Booth, who says, another great pod, guys. The pub quiz debacle reminded me of that episode in the UK version of The Office when they do the Wernham Hog office quiz. Andy, you should have done what they did and offered to throw the quizmaster's shoes over the pub to determine the proper winner.
Have you ever thrown a kettle over a pub? No. What have you done? We haven't got a kettle. Get the shoe. Get some shoes. Did it go over? Yeah, it came straight past me. Brilliant. Yeah, I should have done that, Ian.
But yeah, thank you so much to everybody for the comments. It's always appreciated.
I shall just rattle through as many of these emails as I can. A lot of them are people entering the competition, so I shall just look for the highlights. First one is from Martin Maguire, and he says, I'd like to enter the PB leaderboard challenge. Sounds fun. I've got the Redditch half marathon tomorrow, which was last week.
Ooh, okay.
So I don't think I'll be getting close to my parkrun PB in the first couple of weeks. My local parkrun is Arra Valley, and my PB is 21:56. Thanks for giving us a chance for my fun at parkruns. Yours sincerely, Martin Maguire. So yeah, maybe see you tomorrow because I'm going to go down. So maybe see you down there, mate. Hi guys, this is from this is from Gavin Miss Kelly. Would like to enter your challenge, parkrun ideas, blah blah blah. My name's Gavin. Current PB is 22:37. I haven't got within a minute of that in 2 years, and as I'm a V60, it's unlikely that I will. My local parkrun is Littlehampton Prom, which is quite flat but subject to wind (brackets like me). So I rely on a still day to get a decent run in. We all know the feeling, Gavin. We all know that. Next one is from Rob. Rob has just said his local parkrun is he doesn't say his local one. He got that's it. His PB is 18:41 Alexandra Park last week. Should have waited. Cheers. But I get the feeling that cheers is a bit of a sarcastic one. Cheers, Rob. Terry Doherty says, yeah. Terry Doherty. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name properly. Doherty. He is in this. He says, Doherty. Okay, we'll go Doherty. 22:35 is his PB. We've had one from New Zealand. I don't know what accent that was. From Jordan Knapp. If you just say it quickly, it sounds like you're from New Zealand. Hi, Brett and Andy. Still recovering from Comrades. We'll send an email about how it went soon, but I'll try my best in the PB later on in the challenge. And he's given his deets, and his local is called Millwater Parkrun, New Zealand. Cheers, Jordan. This one is from James Clifton. It says, all right, fellas, it's been a while since my last park run. As always, a juggle to find the time around family life. However, I'd like to use this as motivation to try and get there more often and get that Parkrun official sub 25k. Come on, James. You can do it, mate. You can do it.
Yes.
Simon Lee has said, got my Parkrun PB last Saturday. So bad timing for this. 17:18. All the best, Simon. Good luck, mate. Oh, this next one. This is from Chris Walker. Hi, Brett and Andy. Thanks for reading out a message on the podcast. I've managed to find a few photos and a few bits in the Burnham Parkrun News archive where I got a mention. Just to be clear, and as can be seen in the photos, I was able to put some weight through my foot in the faster attempts. So from a purist perspective, I'm no record breaker. My sole reason for doing this was to satisfy my competitive nature by trying to go faster each week and trying to keep fit. Now, this is an example of one of the photos he sent us. Now, can you see that?
Yeah, so this is
Chris
who did parkruns whilst he had was it a broken leg and on crutches, and slowly got faster and faster on the crutches until he ran about a 24-minute. Was it something like that?
It might have been quicker. I think it was more like 21, wasn't it? 21, 22?
Possibly. Yeah, which is mental on crutches.
Mental. Absolutely crazy. So yeah, that is. I'm just so in awe of your running in crutches that fast. That's absolutely amazing. This next one is from your clubmate, I think, Jordan Adams. This is the same Jordan Adams? It is, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So Jordan has written and said, morning, guys. I'd like to enter the challenge, looking to give one a go at some point, hopefully when the ankle gets a little better. So is he on the injury bench at the moment?
I didn't know that. I haven't been down to club for weeks. So.
Oh, well, you wouldn't know, would you?
No.
So... yeah, we'll hopefully see Jordan round Arrow Valley. He's got a 17:58, so very impressive PB. This is from Alex Bowden, who we've already heard from today. Hope you're well. Emailing to confirm interest in your 6-week challenge. Keep up the great work. And unfortunately, he got his PB last week when he just went sub 20 by 10 seconds. So what a lad. This is Craig Brooks. Hi, lads. Like to join the challenge. I still had Andy's Friends quiz rant fresh in my head when thinking of names for it. How about PB Buffet? Now, that is good, Craig. That really is. I've got a question for you both. How is it that you can both wear bright fluorescent and colourful running clothes and look great, but when I do it, I look like I've jumped through a clown's washing line? Well, I think I look very similar, to be honest, Craig. So,
and when he got to Parkrun, he parked up and the door fell off his car as well.
So embrace the clownness. Embrace the clown.
Basically, wear everything with confidence. That's all you've got to do.
Yeah. Act confident and no one will question you.
Yeah.
Hey, Brett and Andy, this is from Max McCall. He says, they say, love the pod, perfect long run listening. I'll throw my hat in the ring for the Parkrun challenge, although perhaps pointlessly given that I smashed my PB on Saturday by 22 seconds. I'm so sorry, guys. And I'm unsure when the next full send will be. Nevertheless, and here's my details, 18:43. Keep churning out great content across your channels and hope the leg heals quickly, Brett.
Thank you.
Steve Hobson. Hi, Brett and Andy. Love the idea for the parkrun competition. Count me in. Here's an idea for a name. Parkrunning the Red Line. As for my deets, call me Stephen Hobson, but please call me Steve. I was already aiming to try and bring this down over the coming weeks. So this is some extra motivation.
Ace.
So, cheers, mate. This is from Liz J. Hi, Brett and Andy. Loving the Extra Long podcast. I listen while running, but also while doing my strength and conditioning, i.e. hacking at vegetation and moving wheelbarrows of soil and logs in my yard. The weather this time of year is generally too hot and humid to make successful PR attempts where I live, but I will participate in the Parkrun challenge anyway. Parkrun name and number, Elizabeth Johnson. Home Parkrun Purcell. I've never heard of that.
It's one that's in a way away country again.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty cool. So I'm lucky that...
Let me have a look. What's it called? Purcell Parkrun?
Purcell. Yeah, I'm lucky that a parkrun started in my
one
little
L.
area more than a year ago. 2 L's.
I was going to say, yeah, thank you.
I've only been to this one location because the next nearest one is 2 hours drive on the highway, one way. I do have a goal of making it to a different location this year, though.
So
we're so lucky in the UK, aren't we?
It's in America.
What state is that? Whereabouts?
It's in Harrisonburg, VA. What's VA?
VA, Virginia.
There we go then.
Virginia? West Virginia. Virginia. I can't really think of.
Oh yeah, it's Virginia. Virginia. There we go.
Wow,
Virginia.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So cheers, Liz. And she sent us a picture of her home park run in Purcell. So that's amazing that we've got listeners over the pond.
Have you seen the picture?
Yes, the fish one.
Yes. So that was a fish that got out of the lake or the water that's there and was in a puddle.
Wow.
It flooded so bad that there was a fish in a puddle, but she said the fish was okay. So they managed to save the fish and get him back.
The terror fish from Stingray. Do you remember that? Did you ever used to watch that?
Stingray.
Right. This next one is from Carl Bennett. Dear Brett and Andy, before December 24, if you'd have asked me if I like running, I would have quoted Back to the Future. Run for fun? What the hell kind of fun is that? I tried running when I was younger, just getting out there with no plan, doing it all wrong and getting injured. That was it for me. Last December, I feel like I was unhealthy and I knew I needed to make changes. My eldest had taken up running during COVID, starting with couch to 5K, so I thought I'd ease in the same way. I've been conservative, running 3 times a week to accommodate my Thursday evening football. I've completed several park runs too. The benefit of being a new runner is setting a PB each time. I started scouring YouTube and found your channels and have been working my way through all of the videos and really enjoyed listening. Great mix of nonsense as well as gold nuggets of advice I've gleaned from you both, which helped me as a newbie runner. Getting a bit of a bug for buying running shoes, but now I'm not limiting to myself to Adidasler. Never thought I'd love running, but I absolutely do now. Now for the Parkrun Challenge, which I might actually have a chance at because my weekly mileage is low, so we'll never get into the top 3. Well, that's the beauty of this challenge. It's Carl Bennett, Parkrun PB of 27:35, which is very respectable. I'm coming back from an injury right now, so excuses. No, I'm joking. I'm coming back from an injury right now, so maybe only able to do 1 or 2 parkruns in the period. Will that be okay? As I certainly won't be able to do all 6. That's exactly the way to do it. You can just do 1 if you want, mate. You certainly don't have to do all of them. This next one is from Luke Wheeler. He says, "Hi, Brett and Andy. Now the weather's getting warmer, I'm looking to purchase a new running hat. I've heard good things about Varga on the podcast and wondered which type you'd recommend for road running. Any type of hat you would particularly? Well, you're not a massive hat wearer, are you?
I'm not a big hat wearer, but that thing on your head is pretty good.
Yeah. So Varga do a featherlight range. They do a featherlight range, which are really, really good.
Yeah.
Which I'm a big fan of. And he also goes on to say, "Oh, sorry, yeah, go on."
So I was going to say, because you're also a fan of the Varga bucket hat, aren't you? For running.
I've only got one. Yeah, really good for this time of year.
Yeah.
Keeps the sun off your neck and your head, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, I know of some really nice running hats, but they're probably better for wintry and autumn type running. Because they've got like reflective print on the front, and there are some nice hats. I know you probably don't know what I'm trying to get at there, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say
there? Can I be honest? I wasn't listening. I was reading the next bit of the paragraph.
I said what I said was,
it's me ADHD again. Sorry.
I know of a company, a brand that makes some nice running hats, but they're probably better for autumn, winter type running when it gets a bit darker because they got reflective print on the front. You still don't get it, do you? But there we go. Let's move on.
Obi-Wan brand.
There we go. Anyway,
The only running hats you need. ObiWanBrand.com.
Yeah, no, in this weather, I've got to say the Varga hats are fantastic in this weather. The Featherlight range are really nice, aren't they?
Yeah, they are quite good. Not as good
Yeah,
as
and short peaks on hats. If I'm going to have a running hat, it's got to have a short peak. Long peaks on hats, I'm not a fan of. I know a lot of people like a longer peak because it keeps the sun out of their eyes, but I tend to think that shorter peak's better because you can have your head down and still see what you're doing and things, and you can turn the peak up if you want to.
Yeah, like that, like a cycling hat.
Yes.
He also goes on to say, after hearing great things, I've recently purchased some Evo SLs. I've never run in Adidas shoes before, but I'm well impressed. I'll definitely look at Adidas again in the future.
Excellent.
For another daily trainer. And he says, any suggestions? I don't think really you can improve on the Evo SL, to be honest. I would say it's the best daily trainer I've ever had. And that I've had the Nova Blast before, which are very, very good. I've had the Pumas, what they call the Nitros. I've had them. They were good. But the Adidas are better. I've had the Nike pegs as well. But the Adidas are just, it's that race day foam, isn't it? The Light Strike Pro. It's just
as a daily shoe, they're fantastic. I mean, I really enjoyed the SL2, but I would say the Evo SL are better. And I've heard very good things about the Boston, but I would say they're more of a session shoe and a more up-tempo pace shoe than daily shoe. So yeah, daily shoe, you can't go better than the Evo SL.
Yeah. Okay. I think I would agree on that because it really is a good shoe. The next one is from Paul Brogdon. He says, "Hi guys, hoping it's still open." Yes, it is. I'm only just listening to the podcast. He's given his name is PB of 2307, but that was way back in 2019. I might only get 1 or 2 in over the next 6 weeks, but I'll give it a go. That's the only thing that matters, that you give it a go. Yeah. I love the pod. Often it keeps me entertained for the entire drive home from Preston to Bromsgrove. I mean, that is pretty much about up the M6. That's about 2 hours, isn't it? So, you probably can squeeze a whole podcast in. Yeah. Take it easy, Paul. And that's Here Comes Bod.
Nice.
So, Mark Mystery Burton has written in and he said, quick one, drop you my parkrun deets. I don't know if I'll get a chance to do parkrun in the time frame, but never know. And hopefully catch you both soon. P.S. Shout out to friend of the podcast, Mac.
Yeah, shout out to Mac.
Shout out to Mac. Exactly. Shout out to friend of the. Is always a friend of the podcast, Mac. So shout out to you, Mac. For no reason whatsoever.
No,
Robbie,
no, just to shout you out.
Yeah, Robbie Adams, fantastic podcast as always. Just wanted to ask you both if you prefer running in this heat that we're currently experiencing, or when the rain starts to fall. I'm not falling. I thought that was a genuine question then. Right, get him off the list.
That is genius. That is genius. Love it.
Yeah, the rain starts to fall. I still can't get over that. Loving Andy's rant, channeling his inner Michael Douglas in the Falling Down movie. Keep up the great work, Robbie. That's a good email. Cheers, Robbie.
Brilliant.
Conrad Burdekin has written in and said his current PB is 1956 from 2023. And he also says, further to my previous email, where I've excitedly signed up for your Parkrun challenge, especially because I'm listening to you right now talk about how silly challenges impact your serious training. I'm booked for Race to the Stones, 100K on July the 12th. So trying to pop a 5K in when I have a 20-mile long run on my plan is compatible, right? So yeah, all the best with that. It's good for you training though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I haven't got much time to shout everyone out. So this next one's from Andy Richmond, who's written in. He's got a PB of 1852. Tom Painter, who's written in before, he wants to have a go at the challenge. His home parkrun is Southampton. Great parkrun, by the way. I've done that one once, and it's massively well attended. It's like 1,000 people there. So yeah, all the best, Tom. Those two runners, Kaylee's in. She'll give it a crack, although I won't race them all. You don't need to. Kaylee's on 22:24 currently. So good luck, Kaylee. This one's from Mark Griffiths. Wants to get involved, 23:08. Rob Frederick, who's that? Is it Freddie Runs by any chance? Count me in on the Running the Red Line podcast, Premier League Division 1 Parkrun Challenge of the Year 2025. His current PB is 23:21. Good luck for Endure 24 this weekend, by the way, mate. Reese Porter says, sign me up. Reese Porter, we will do. Will Ford, count me in despite my laughable recent training. Work shifts, so I'm going to have to do full sends. That's Will Ford. His current PB is 19:41. Hi, Brett and Andy. Jordan. Jordan has written in a long old email, and this is a cracker. He's written in about the Comrades Marathon.
Ooh.
So Jordan wrote in, you might remember, about his Auckland Marathon last year. Why don't we leave that one till next week?
Yes.
And we'll go through that because we are running out of time. We're close to the end now. This is titled Parkrun Redline PB Challenge Thing. This is from Hayley Bean. And he says, hi, I know I'm close to the red line. See what I did there? But last minute entry to the challenge. Her current PB is just over 30 minutes. And the PB was in 2023. So it's a big ask to get back there. But nothing like a leaderboard to make you run faster.
Yeah.
And that's runner_bean15 on Insta. She says, P.S. If you fancy a bit of tourism, my local parkrun, Black Rocks in Derbyshire, is a super fast and flat one. So hope to see you there one day. We've had another race review, which we'll get round to first thing next week, from Lorne Downey, who has written in to talk about his epic achievement of the ultramarathon, The Wall, where you run along Hadrian's Wall.
Amazing.
And this is quite a story, so I'm looking forward to getting into that next week.
Yes,
and we're coming towards the end. We've got Neil Marsh, who's written in, and he says, here's, can we add him to your Parkrun challenge? Now, Marshy, where are you? He's done 17:28 as a PB, so
nice.
No doubt that's going to be difficult. And Matt Morris has written in and said, just catching up, I'd love to be a part of this. And Matt is around about a similar time, I think. Where is he at? I can't find his deets. 18:01 for Matthew, yeah.
Nice.
So good luck to you, dude. And if we've forgotten anyone, because you've DM'd us, we've run out of time. Because a lot of you did DM us, which we thank you for. But we literally just don't have enough time in the day to get through to everyone. So thank you so much for writing in.
Because we're too busy waffling about random nonsense.
Yeah. There's too much nonsense. But let the games begin. We have officially, by the time you're listening to this, the games will have officially started.
Contenders,
let us know.
Ready. Gladiators, ready. What was I going to say? Okay, so what we have left to do is, can you think about what we haven't done yet?
I can, because it freaks me out every week.
Yeah, we're going to do, if I can find it, that is. Found it. The Strava segment.
The eye contact. It's the eye contact.
Uh-huh. So, in first place for our distance this week is the one and only Rory Hancock, who completed a 100-mile race. So, So really, right next to him should be Rachel. But I don't think Rachel's on Strava. So Rory takes the accolade of first place with 107.2 miles for the week.
Yeah. Well done, guys.
Lorne Downey takes second place with 68.7 miles. And James Slade takes third place with 65.3 miles. And then for our climbing, Rory Hancock takes the first place in the climbing as well, because he's got 12,684 foot over that 107 mile. That's some
Was this
old
the
climb,
North
isn't it?
Downs Way or the South Downs Way 100? I
Yes,
can't remember
I
which one
think
it was.
it was. Yeah,
That's
yeah. I think it was
incredible.
the South Downs one, wasn't it? Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, incredible, amazing work, Rory and Rachel. And then second place for climbing is George Gibson with 8,235 foot, and James Slade with 7,671 foot. And then our top three ladies. In first place was Rachel Watson with 55.1 miles. Second was Chloe Hammard with 45 miles on the nose. And third was Victoria Lee with 37.8 miles. So amazing work from everybody on the Strava leaderboard this week.
Absolutely amazing. Some big miles being run in the heat. We love to see it.
Yes.
We love to see it.
And now there's going to be some speedy miles run in the heat.
I genuinely am excited for the competition. And the spreadsheet has come to life to see who's run, and
So at Parkrun tomorrow, are you going for your first attempt at the Parkrun in the red line, or
no? Well, I'm going to do my 5K, my Summer of Speed finale the week after next. So a week Saturday, week tomorrow. It will be about the 28th of June, I think. That's going to be my attempt. So that will be tomorrow. I'm hoping to get round fairly quickly, but not an attempt. I'm going to try and get round in about 21-ish tomorrow.
Okay, cool. What about where you're going to go for your? So if is that early for? Because you were going to do 6 weeks, weren't you, of training? Is that early?
So I've brought it forward, which I will explain why in due course. But I'm bringing my Summer of Speed to a slightly premature end, which, to be honest, I'm quite pleased with, because I'm sick of intervals and sprints and all that. I just want to do some long, easy miles.
Yeah. Have you chosen where you're going to do your attempt on that Saturday?
Well, yeah, I'm on the waiting list for a fast 5K race, a midweek race in Telford, which I'm doubtful that I'll get a place for. So my backup, I've got a couple of parkruns I've not yet decided on. But the contenders so far are Long Eaton, notoriously very fast field and flat course, and the new Wolverhampton course, where the Quiney boys, who have inspired tomorrow's Parkrun for me, because they did a session before Parkrun last week, and that's exactly what I'm going to do next. That's exactly what I'm going to do tomorrow. So I'm going to do a big effort before Parkrun and then do a hard Parkrun tomorrow.
Yeah, watching those boys fly around Wolverhampton and that new course, it does look quite good, doesn't it? They said they think it's the fast one to go around their way now. So that could be a good one.
Yeah, I think it could be. So and there are others in the mix, but they're the two front runners, I think.
Cool. Okay. Right. I shall, because you're going to go to Ara Valley tomorrow, aren't you? For Parkrun?
I am. So I'll see you in the morning.
So I will probably see you in the morning. I'll be standing at the side cheering you all on. So, on that, we shall say thank you so much for watching or listening. And, we shall see you next week for the first top 10 leaderboard in our Parkrun in the Red Line. So, thank you very much. And we'll see you next time. Cheers, guys.
See you guys.